My name is Juno Rose, and I am director, writer, and costumer of Little Death. So this film idea came from my time in hookup culture, especially when I was in my college and just being in that environment and seeing the different relationships that would form, break apart, and seeing how people reacted to that transactional experience while also analyzing and showing how I reacted to that transactional experience, especially as someone who would consider themselves to be a romantic at heart. I think a lot of the most important stories for people, or that come from different directors or artists in general, are the ones that come from your own personal experience. So just taking my own personal experience and expressing it outwards, I feel like I was able to write something that's meaningful to a lot of people. The first draft is interesting because the first draft I think is still a good draft, but the issue with it is that the message of the film kind of got skewed because some of the events were a bit too graphic. I won't go too far into it, but it changed kind of the message of the film or the interpretation from people who are reading it for the first time. So after workshopping it, making things a bit softer, making things that fit the theme and the vibe that we want to go for, we were able to make a film that I think we're able to make a film that really captures that experience and really speaks from the heart. The title Little Death comes from the French word for post-orgasm because it is associated with a near-death experience, and I thought it was such a beautiful term, and I feel like it has such significance to the film because it is this process that keeps happening to this character constantly. Like every hookup that she has is a little death in a sense. It is quick and it's just gone. And I feel personally, what better title to have for a film that explores sex in such a personal way. The arc of her character, she's stuck in this cycle of hookup partner after hookup partner after hookup partner, and she just isn't happy. She isn't fulfilled at all. And eventually she finds something that does fulfill her. And moving forward, she has this experience and knows that this is much different than what she's been doing. But at the end, she's also had the same thing she's done onto other people done onto her. And so continuing this cycle, if she does not break it, she's doomed to repeat it. Hence with the starting shot and the last shot being the exact same shot. For the visual storytelling, something that was very important to me when we were workshopping and storyboarding was the repetition. So basically that shot of her sitting on the bed is repeated when it comes to different partners, and it stays a constant throughout the film in order to reinforce that this is something so mundane to her, something that doesn't feel like anything. It's nothing special. It's almost just another day for her. And I think the first and last shot also communicates that feeling of repetition and looping very much because of the fact that it is the exact same shot. And I think in the middle, when when the character she gets a crush on comes into the scene, comes into the frame, everything feels like super different. We're finally viewing her from the front, and we're seeing so much more of her space, and we are in a far more personal and intimate scenario with the main character. And I think that the repetition break of that repetition shows so much, especially when it comes to parallels as well, because in the bathroom scene, for instance, when our protagonist is brushing her teeth, that is reversed onto her with the character she falls for, with just brushing her teeth and washing her face like it's just another day. And I think that feeling is important. I think the hardest part, there are many difficult things when it came to making this film. I know I was stressed because a project I was working on before didn't pan out as well as I would like, and things got very messed up. So this one I really had to hone in. I really want to make something that would make me feel like I've done like a great job at making or directing something. And I think that pressure made it very hard to film sometimes. But I would say, like, in terms of like the actual filmmaking process, I think that one of the hardest things was honestly the sexuality of everything, to make sure that everyone's on board and comfortable, everyone's feeling safe, because we'd never worked with an intimacy coordinator before, and we've never had a film that like skirted into more sexual places like this before. And making sure that everyone was comfortable, everyone felt seen, everyone felt heard, everyone felt like everyone consented to everything that was happening, from both behind the screen and in front of the screen, and having those agreements and making sure they're never broken, I think was the most important, or one of the most difficult things, because it was an area we had just like never explored before as filmmakers. But I think things went excellent when it comes to that part of the film, and everyone understood the gravity while being able to have a good time. I'm really proud of myself and my team to be able to do that. When it came to directing intimacy itself, it was like 90% of the intimacy coordinator. She was only there for 1 hour, and what she was able to do beforehand, she conducted interviews with each of the actors to see what they're comfortable with in regards to the story, and see what is okay for them to do, what is not okay for them to do. And when we got on set, she was there and she ran through every part of the film with each actor. So literally everyone knew where it was okay to touch the other person, where it was not okay, what was too far, what we could workshop on the spot to make it so everyone was comfortable. Like if we had to cut something, we cut it. If we had to change something, we changed it. And at the end of the day, even though we make films, we're very passionate about films, and we want to do this long into our careers. We should never be blinded by the fact that people come before the art every single time, and you cannot exploit people or make people uncomfortable just so you can make your art. And I think that is very important on a film set. Our intimacy coordinator was Montgomery Davis, and she was so efficient. She was so kind. She was so nice, so understanding, and she knew exactly what I've never seen. Well, maybe not never, but it's rare to see an hour on a film set maximized so well, where so much can be done in such a little amount of time. I don't even know if we used the full hour. I would love to work with Mati again. She is a wonderful and invaluable help, and low-key kind of want my own intimacy coordination certificate. I think it is something I'm interested in pursuing. But such an important role, such an important job. Thank you, Monty, for helping us out. My advice would be to be very communicative with everyone involved, literally everyone, so no one is doing something that they're not comfortable with. And I would say at this level of filmmaking where everything's indie, we didn't have a budget, no one was getting paid, you have to be extremely careful with what you're willing to put your actors through, because even like simple things like a kiss or like a touch in a certain place can be very distressing if not addressed properly. And I think something else that is I would say is, as a director, as someone in charge, you need to have rules and boundaries, if that makes sense. Like, everyone who is on set should know that if they do something that is like not cool, make someone like extremely uncomfortable, even if it's just a joke, a touch, or something, Like, there is no playing around in that space. And if you're going to do something that, like, if someone does something that harms or makes other people uncomfortable, then they have to be kicked off set, or that needs to just, you need, as a director, you need to make sure that that doesn't happen, and that people are comfortable, safe, and that you aren't putting your actors for too much, and that you know that everyone's cool with everything. Like, not assume, but know. I hope for the people who have not had to experience hookup culture, they can see what is going on behind the scenes, basically. I think that, also think that I want people to have a better view of sex in general, and to have a more nuanced view of sex and how it can affect people, even if everything is consensual, and just how certain spaces can affect people's sex life in certain ways, and how important that can be to a person, especially when especially in such a transactional space. Thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me talk about my silly little film about hookup culture. And you can watch the film now at Classroom 105 Productions at youtube.com.